You are now listening to Pull Hook Golf, an unfiltered golf podcast taking you inside the ropes with unfiltered stories, insights, analysis, and exclusive interviews. Hey everyone, before we dive into today's episode, a quick word from our sponsors. Swannies is here with a fresh take, premium looks from top to bottom at swannies.co. And for all our Pull Hook Golf listeners, you get an exclusive 25% off using promo code PullHookGolf25 at checkout. Now enjoy the episode. Welcome back, everybody, to Pull Hook Golf, the podcast. This is a very special episode because I've got a second-time returning interviewee. He is a very special guest. He has absolutely come to fame on Instagram as well as all the other social media channels in the world, including YouTube. And he not only is a returning member of the Pull Hook Golf podcast, but I do have to say, the last time that we spoke, FP, you were leaving your office job, going to take the leap of faith and go join Bob Does Sports. And man, I remember talking to you about it. It was just such a cool moment because you were like, literally, I turned in my resignation today. We're going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's an incredible journey. But without further ado, Mr. Fat Perez, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me back on. It's been a minute. It's been seems like just yesterday that I was talking to you, but also in some ways it feels like it was a long time ago. So who knows anymore? Yeah, it's been a crazy journey.
That it has, and we got to talk about this because reflecting on the past year, you have been just everywhere. I mean, when all of a sudden all the caddies on tour know who you are, all the PGA Tour players know who you are, you have club sponsorships to where you guys are getting clubs left and right. I mean, you're doing sets of celebrities, professional athletes. I mean, you've been on this crazy journey. I've been watching every step along the way, and it's so cool just to see where we were talking just over a year ago and you just starting this to where you are now. But let me ask you, I mean, reflecting on the past year, I mean, what has really stood out to you and what has it really been like?
Yeah, it's I appreciate it. It's been wild, man. Yeah, I think I was getting kind of getting right into it when we last talked and leaving the day job and kind of going out on a limb on this thing. And it's been a lot of fun. Like you said, we've done a lot of cool stuff in the last year, things and places and people that I never thought I'd go or be around or play golf with, and had a whole lot of fun doing it with two of four really of what are become my best friends and guys that I spend a lot of time with. So it's a dream that I didn't really know I had until I got into it, I would say. I always wanted to play, golf as a living as a kid. I wanted to turn pro and all the things that golfers like you and I, when we were kids, wanted. So I'm sort of living that in a much different way. I don't have to worry about the state of my game and making cuts. But I get all the good things, I guess, that come with, a life on the road, on the golf course, and being with your friends. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whirlwind, right? I mean, everything just kind of flashes before your eyes, especially when all of a sudden you're up in Canada. I've got Whistler Golf Club, which has a nice little story behind it here because when all of a sudden heading in, you and I were talking a little bit before we went on air. Tell us a little bit about what happened on your journey to Whistler Golf Club.
Joey Colcutt's one of our guys on Bob Does Sports, is from Vancouver. And everything was going great. We were having a great week. But we rented a larger van than we normally would because we had an extra guy come to help film some behind the scenes type stuff. And I just never have driven anything where I've considered whether or not I could go through a tunnel. I've never looked at a tunnel and done any, thoughts on it. But unfortunately, the van was a little taller than the tunnel. We got about halfway through it. It was pretty clear what would happen, but we were all sort of looking at each other. And then that was the moment of like, I don't think going forward or going back, either one of those is better than the other. So I may as well just go, and at least we'll get there. But I was told by the head pro and like one of the cart guys, they were outside waiting for us to come, and they heard it. And the cart guy turns to the pro and was like, "They're here." So,
What an entrance.
yeah, it was tough. It was a tough scene. Returning that thing wasn't pleasant, I would say. They told me that that it happened before,
Oh
and
no.
that the person, I don't know what they were driving, but they actually got stuck and couldn't drive out. So they had to let, I was like, so what did you do? And they're like, we let all the air out of the tires to try to lower it down. And then they still had to put like 20 people into the truck to weigh it down that much more on the suspension, and then they could drive it out.
What a scene that must have been,
At
huh?
least we didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, with all this travel that's been going on, something on a little bit more serious of a note. I mean, how's the wife handling it?
It's she's supportive, and it's a very obviously unique opportunity, been an adjustment. We, I think we value our time together more than we did before, if I'm kind of glass half fulling it there. But no, there's some days are harder than others. This stretch in Canada, we were in Tahoe for that like ACC celebrity
Yep.
tournament, and then we went to LA and did some things with Callaway down in Carlsbad in between that and Canada. So on this stretch, I was actually gone 2 weeks, which is on the on the longer side. And you just, the old like communicate, right? Everybody tells you the key to a great relationship is to communicate. I was like, yeah, whatever. But they're right, 100%. You just you try to make more calls than you return, I would say. You try to keep that that level more shifted my way.
That's good
And
advice right there for anybody that's
yeah,
out there traveling. Is
so
1-800-Flowers your new favorite company?
yeah, sure. It might be, look, when maybe another year or two into this, I might have to go bring in the big guns on the flower side. Fortunately, I'm not quite there yet.
All
I
right,
think once
fair
you start
play.
breaking the flowers out,
Yeah.
you don't have much to pull out,
No,
many
you're
more
setting a
stops to pull
precedent.
out. So yeah, I'm gonna push that one off as long as I can.
As we move kind of beyond reflecting on the past trip to Canada, the encounter with a tunnel, and certainly a little bit of the challenges that come along with being on the road quite a bit. I mean, now let's get into the positive aspect of Bob Does Sports and what it's had on your career. I mean, you've been able to play a shit ton of golf from what I'm seeing. So how's the golf
Yeah,
game right now?
it's better than it was, a couple years ago when I was, kind of desk job. But the other side of that, it is a lot of golf, and for a guy that's not exactly in peak physical shape, or
Oh, come
really
on now. Don't
takes care. Yeah, I mean, look, it is
You're
what
an
it
athletic
is.
gentleman.
Well, I appreciate that. For my
I've
size,
seen
I
you
don't
out
do too
there.
bad, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I stretch or do anything really the way I should.
Oh, that's fair.
So some of these trips, by the end of it, at least my body's a little bit worn out. So some days are better than others. Some days you wake up sore. You're kind of ours. We don't sleep. We sleep in different places. There's not a consistent mattress, or when I'm in LA, I'm likely on Bob's couch.
I've seen
Um,
that actually. It's
yeah.
quite the
So
scene.
we still have a little bit of I don't know. We're still grinding. We still feel we still have that kind of mindset about us. So, but yeah, it's as far as yeah, some days you wake up and you just don't have it, and that's okay. I mean, good news, like I said, I don't have to worry about making any cuts. It's actually funnier if we play bad in some ways. So, there's not really. I don't get too bent out of shape about how well I play or how well I don't play. It is what it is.
Talk to us about the level because I always get asked. Because ever since you guys came out to Arizona, we played some golf together. Everybody asks, they're like, what's their games actually like? Because all the clips kind of cut to like moments, right?
Sure.
And kind of piece it all together. So people don't necessarily know the level of golf games amongst the group. They get a feel for it, but I always tell them, I'm like, well, FP is the best golfer by far out of the group. However, you know, Joey Coldcuts can get off the tee well. You got
Yeah.
Bob, who, around the greens, but give us the state right now of everybody's golf games, kind of in a couple words for each.
Yeah, I think, like you said with Coldcuts, he's got some power off the tee. He's a streaky putter, so when he's putting well, he's putting very well, makes a lot of putts. He's starting to come around on his wedge game a little bit. That's always kind of been his struggle. So he's trending in a good direction. He's probably, I don't know, 12, 14 handicap, something like that. And Bob was, when we started playing, was clearly kind of the third best of the group, but he's always kind of had that potential. You've seen him swing. I mean, he's got a good golf swing. He's just got to trust it and kind of fire. So he's gaining some distance. His putting's always been great. So him and Joe are about the same, I would say, in skill level at this point. I give them the same strokes and videos that we do that type of thing. So I would say Bob is also trending in a different way. And I'm playing some good golf. I'm never going to get to kind of one way or the other at this point. I wouldn't say I'm practicing.
I've seen some 60s out there though, some 67,
yeah. I think the best is better than it has been. But the worst is still always kind of lurking. So, inconsistent, I would say, to some extent, day to day.
And we're just going to blame that on the travel, folks.
Sure.
It's the first year. I always say it with PGA Tour rookies. They got to get comfortable out there. Sure. And you're on tour right now, just on a different type without having to make cuts.
Well, it's either that or I have to admit that I, need to take better care of myself. And quite frankly, I'm not really ready to do that yet. So
now, we're gonna blame it on the mattress. The stretching or the drinking? Because you guys get a little sloshed out there at times. It's
stretching, drinking, eating, sleeping. I mean, everything.
Shoot, this is Unfiltered Podcast. I'm drinking right now.
Yeah. No, I like to have a good time. I've got one speed when I get going on that stuff, and I'm not a kind of guy that can just have 3 beers, 4 beers, and go to bed. I'm either, but I have no issue not drinking. I'll go. That's no problem. But if I'm going to start, I kind of go full. And I have no concept of what I've got going the next day or when it's happening. It's just not even in my mind. So I deal pretty severely with the consequences the next morning, as Bob likes to grab on video often.
I see a lot of stories from Bob about you. I feel like it's his favorite pastime is kind of whenever you go a little too hard the night before, he wants to make sure that he makes it public.
Yeah, Bob. I mean, Bob has a history of surrounding himself with characters, I would say. It's everyone he's ever had in his orbit, and I don't think it's an accident. He gets so much entertainment in guys like Joey Coldcuts. He was with on his podcast, Jersey Jerry and Barstool. Yep. Those two ran together for a long time before Jerry went to Barstool. And there's just other people just that float around his life, even in LA and back in New Jersey, that are they all have something about them that he is able to either gain personal entertainment on or parlays into entertaining things that he can use on his social media platform. He's a content first guy. I've told him this a million times. He knows it. He's so good. He always has his phone kind of ready to go. No crazy moment is ever uncaptured around that guy, which, is great. Is why he's where he is, I would say.
100%. And I also get asked a lot about, are you guys really like that in terms of what you are on camera versus, because I've hung out with you guys outside of cameras, being around and everything. And I have to tell you, I mean, Bob for sure, 100% is just a natural, funny dude. I mean, and that's that frequency that he's on. And I think that's one of the reasons why he surrounds himself, or people are drawn to him that are naturally funny and get themselves into situations. And certainly when I get asked about you, I'm like, FP's FP, man. Like, you have such a genuine knack about you. I don't think you're trying to be anybody else other than who you are. And then Joey's just always angry. So, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, he wears his heart on his sleeve, whether he's happy, sad, mad, up a bet, down a bet. He's going to tell you how he feels. Yeah, I mean, none of us we're not actors, right? Like, if we, I mean, it's the beautiful thing about what we're able to do is that for whatever reason, us being ourselves and going out and playing golf on camera, um, is being found entertaining by people. And people root for us, they love us, and it's awesome because couldn't we couldn't act like I'm an accountant, I'm not an actor. Like if we had to go out there and we had a script or we had a way of video, we wanted a video to go because we thought it would be funny or entertaining, it would be so obvious. Like we wouldn't be good at that. So no, I mean, it's kind of just how it shook out that
Yeah.
being ourselves is enough. And it certainly makes our filming, I would say, I don't know, easier, but when you're not out there trying to do anything, you just kind of let things happen. It's just way better. I mean,
There's a
really,
genuineness to you guys, and there's that
yeah,
dynamic between each of you that it's
sure.
just like each of you fit that puzzle piece of a comedic, fun, entertaining type of show. And I mean, the content's fantastic. Now, a quick word from our sponsor. Swannies is here with a fresh take. Performance-based materials are a given these days. But if you're looking for the stretchiest and most lightweight pieces that deliver a look that says, I'm here for a good time, take a walk on the Swannies side. With fabric sourced from recycled plastics and designs sourced from our very own weekend warriors, Swannies is looking out for both our planet and those that need a little style to boost their drive another 15 yards. Premium looks from top to bottom at swannies.co.
Yeah, I mean, we're all like best friends, like I said, and we're all kind of different in our humor, if you will. Like Bob's super upbeat, positive, kind of motivating, right? Rah rah kind of guy. Joe is beating himself up, loud, kind of over the top, funny. I can sit there and make fun of them both, and do whatever it is that I do, and then even
that's what you
Eurostepping, right? And then Jet, kind of our like kind of original producer, camera guy, editor.
He's coming behind. He's coming in front of the camera
awesome
now.
He's so funny, but he's got that like cynical, like dry, like I don't want to be here, you guys are pissing me off type humor. And then even our second guy, Ticket, he's hilarious in his own way. So
you guys
it's
have
like
Jet and Ticket.
Jet and Ticket. Yeah.
Wow.
Those are
I didn't
our
know
two
about
guys.
Ticket. Yeah. Okay.
Ticket's starting to kind of pop out too. He's got a fifth mic on our podcast, kind of behind the camera, but you'll hear he's hilarious. He might be the funniest one of us all. So we've kind of got, it's not, you couldn't be five Bobs. It couldn't be five Joes. It couldn't be five Jets. That wouldn't work. But it's not like it was curated that way. It's just how it all shook out. Like, I think you look at everyone takes a look at their golf group, their foursome on Sunday, right? Saturday and Sunday with their boys. And I think everyone's got that kind of mix. So I don't know if people kind of see us and their friends, and that's kind of how they can relate to us or whatever it may be. But yeah, it's we go out there and we have a video idea, like this is the format we want to do, and that's the only thing that's planned. Everything else just happens. So it's kind of cool to see how, it's fun for us to see how it unfolds. And then, we get to live it again when the video comes out.
I mean, you guys have done a ton of collaborations, celebrities, athletes, other influencers on the golf YouTube scene. I mean, talk to me about who was your absolute favorite to film with?
Oh, that's tough.
I know you're gonna have to pick one here.
Yeah, we've had a few, and like a lot of them are good for different reasons. If I was gonna say like what was like the most fun day that we probably had filming, it was probably with Josh Allen, Kyle Allen, and Sam Darnold at Monarch Beach.
That was a good one
in California, just because it was just a wild video and a wild day, kind of from start to finish.
How drunk did you get that day?
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh
Yeah, I
Allen can
think
drink, huh?
oh, they all can. I mean, they're
Yeah.
big, these guys, even though they're quarterbacks, they're big dudes, right? So they have and their off seasons, they've been running for a month or two or whatever. So they're in that mode, and it was just fun. They were ready to go. They brought it from they were looking forward to it just as much as we were. And it fired from start to finish on the course. And then we went and had dinner all together, and it got even sloppier. So it was one of the more fun, like, full days that I've had in this thing for sure.
You didn't end up at a steakhouse that night? Josh
We
Allen, Sam
did go to
Darnold.
we did go to a steak house. I don't know to be honest with you, at that point, I don't know what kind of restaurant that was. I think some guys did have steak though, from
Could
what I
have been the
recall.
strip club with that great buffet.
It wasn't. I'm confident that it wasn't a place of that nature. I think it was next door at the wall. I think it was, I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember. I know what I drank. I have no idea what I ate. I might not have eaten anything. I have no idea.
How good of a
Wow.
golfer is Sam Darnold and Josh? I mean, I know I've seen a lot of Josh Allen out there playing golf, but how good was Sam Darnold?
Sam's not bad. He was rolling some putts in towards the end that were daggers. I don't know how long he's been like doing it or how much he really plays, but he's just kind of like he's like your buddy who's like a bogey golfer but super athletic and just like hits shots like out of nowhere, makes putts out of nowhere.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so he's not, I don't think I'm not sure he has the bug quite to the level that Josh does. I mean, Josh loves golf.
Yeah.
I mean,
Big
it's
golf guy.
football. If football's one, I don't think golf's far behind as far as what he is passionate about. And he's just, all these guys, man, are just hyper competitors, right? And they don't want to be bad at anything that they do. So you see these dudes that either just don't want to play golf because it's annoying that they aren't good at it, or they just catch the bug and it's like all they think about. So I think Sam's is approaching that, and I'm sure Josh certainly already has that bug.
Who was the best golf influencer that you have played with?
Skill wise, I think Grant Horvat.
Oh, he can play.
Yeah, top to bottom, he's just very solid. He's just a great ball striker, and his putting, he makes a lot of putts.
I think
I've seen that guy play
so much money. Sorry for cutting you off, but
yeah,
if he wasn't making so much money, he'd have a real chance of actually playing on a professional circuit, whether it be the mini tours, Corn Ferry, or whatnot. But he's got game.
Yeah, beautiful golf swing, obviously. I think he just loves kind of the content creation stuff, and the same stuff we enjoy as far as where it takes you and who it puts you around and the videos that you can make. It's super exciting. He's so good, man. But there are guys that I know. I know George Bryan's really good. Obviously his brother's Wesley's on tour. George is really good. If you ask Grant that might be Grant's answer.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to play with him yet. But everyone that's in this space for the most part is got some game.
You sure about that? You want that to be on the record?
I mean, the ones that are doing like swing videos, and stuff like that. Obviously, look, like, this isn't a shot at my boys, but like they're not certainly in that conversation. So there's a lot of ways to be in the space and not be like a great golfer necessarily, but chances are you're not like dribbling golf balls, right? Like
exactly.
you're able to hit golf shots. So, whether it's like the BustaJack guys, both of them are very good. They're awesome. We love hanging out with those guys. Yeah, they're great. They got a good thing going. They're doing the right stuff. Just good dudes. We have a lot of fun with them when we film together. Obviously Mike is really good. All the good guys are solid. Like Luke Kwan's very, very good. Garrett Clark, unbelievably good.
When we say good, what do you think their handicaps are, FP?
I think Garrett and I play. Well, he came to Richmond recently, and we played straight up and had a close match. So He's about scratch +1, kind of where I
Okay.
am. I'd say Luke is probably a few strokes better, so he might be a +3-ish, +4.
Oh,
I'd say Grant's around there. I
gosh,
think George.
you're making me feel inferior over here. I'm just a plus +0.5. The
It's a
half
good place
of a
to be.
one. It's all right. It's not terrible, but when you're going up against 7, 8 handicaps, and they're sandbagging, it's not
No,
fun.
no, and it's hard. Like it's not when you get to that level, our level, right? Like you don't want to be doing the stroke thing anymore, right? Like
No,
you want to
straight
play.
up, man.
No, and like I don't mind playing with people that are, obviously my whole living is with guys that are 14 handicaps, but I can go out. I'll play with
Touche.
anybody. I just don't need to necessarily. I'm not the kind of guy that always has to have action.
Yeah,
That's like there. I have friends that can't imagine playing golf ever without some sort of something going on. I don't mind it. I'll do it, but I don't need it to go out and play. Like,
same.
so I don't need to like do that. But if I have guys that are good or I'm playing around with some dudes that we don't need to bring strokes into play, then let's do it. Um, I still love the member guests. Like that's like my favorite shit in the world is a good member guest.
They are fun, and
but
you get
but
free
it's harder
free
on guys
stuff.
like us, right? Because
It's true.
you got to play really good to have any shot. So
Oh my God. Hang on. I have a story around this. My brother-in-law he belongs to a country club in Fairfield, Connecticut. And
okay,
my God, so I go out there and for 36 holes, I shoot 2 over par. Okay. I am a 3.7 at that point. Not a
okay,
plus. I am a 3.7. We got murdered the entire time.
yeah,
And I'm just sitting there going, wow, these handicaps they're carrying well for other people. They're not carrying well for me, apparently. I mean, I was literally under par for the entire thing with the handicap, and good grief. I mean, you get some guys out there. Does that ever frustrate you going to those member guests?
yeah. I mean, it's just like it's tough because like for like a 12 handicap, right? A 12 handicap's got some game in them. And usually member guests are set up in such a way that like the bogeys and the doubles don't matter as much as the birdies do. And it's much easier for a 12 handicap to break 80, which would be like what, like 5 under their handicap,
Yeah,
than it is for a guy like me to basically go 6 under. Like that would be one of my better rounds in years, right? So
true.
the like relative stroke difference, the better you get, it's much harder to kind of get on the other side of it. And then you've got guys that are like, so the last member guest I played in, my partner is a 10. Well, he's a 10 on his own, right? He's not a 10 when I'm in his ear. So, when I'm reading his putts and telling him how to play the game and managing the course for him, the stuff that's made, the mistakes he makes on his own and why he's a 10, he becomes like a 6 very quickly.
Ooh,
So,
that's a
like,
dangerous man.
yeah, but those guys are out there, right? So, you got a guy that shows up that's this handicap on his own, but he's got a partner, because he can't putt, but his partner's an 8 and he's a terrible ball strike, but he's a fantastic putter. So you got this 8, this great putter, so there's all these combinations. And these guys have been playing these member guests for years, right? These old heads, they've
Oh, it's
been on the
true.
circuit for decades.
They have
They know they're
figured
not
it
playing
out.
with guys that they don't win with, right?
Exactly.
So you're getting dudes that have been playing in these things for decades, and it's fun, man. At the end of the day, it's all about having a good time and getting kind of beat up and torn up out there. That's why I love it. Like there's a little bit of the golf, but at the end of the day, you don't win your flight, whatever. Like you had a great time, few open bars. It's a beautiful thing.
A couple free gifts,
Yeah,
depends
some
on the
tea
country
gifts. I
club.
mean, come on.
You get some nice stuff every once in a while.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's
And
great. It's as good
so
as it
you're
gets.
telling me you're all about having a day.
Oh yeah, it's all about having a day. If you can turn a day into a weekend too, have a
Whew,
weekend. I mean,
have
let's
a
go.
weekend. I think that's
Absolutely.
the new slogan.
Might
Have a
be,
weekend.
right?
Screw a day. Have a weekend. That's pretty solid there, FP. Now, talk to me about this Callaway deal that you guys have. Good Good's also in that whole ordeal with
Mhm.
Callaway as well. So you guys had your nice little kind of introductions and everything that came along with it. Good Good, I see they've got a golf ball that they've come out with. When is the Bob Does Sports Have a Day type of golf ball coming? I mean,
Sure.
what are we looking at? I just saw. Talk to me a little bit about the Callaway situation.
They're awesome. It's a dream, kind of, certainly for a guy like me who's always kind of been in the world of golf, to have a golf brands, kind of sponsorship is wild. And they're awesome. They really are. I think these brands, all of them, are starting to kind of see the value, and then even necessity to kind of attach themselves to the social media golfer, the YouTube golfer. So it's cool to see these brands put, the time and emphasis to us, and Callaway specifically. Like, they're just the way that they are. I mean, if you look at their Instagram page, it's pretty funny. Like, they've got a guy, like he's a funny dude, and he gets like when to bring guys like us in the good posts versus the ROM post and the equipment stuff. So the tone of their social media is really good, and aligns well with us, which is great. I don't, I think you see TaylorMade that's kind of into it with Foreplay and Grant and Micah and some of these other guys, so they get the value. They've been doing it for a bit, and some of these other brands like a Titleist, let's say, is still sort of a classic golf brand, kind of the more, sweaters and things like that. So
Traditional.
yeah, they're more traditional. So it wouldn't make sense for us to be with Titleist. It doesn't fit their marketing. It doesn't fit their tone, I would say. But they've aligned with, I think, the No Laying Up guys,
Okay.
who have, who are serious golfers, and have a kind of a serious golf focused podcast, but are, from everything I can tell, and people I know that know them, are fun guys, and make fun videos too. So it's like these brands know what they are, and know kind of who they want to align themselves with, and are very good about kind of going out there and working with the people that they want to work with, like that. I mean, that's something
I
we're
need to see the FP ball.
in. Yeah, we're in there. I don't know exactly what it's going to shake out to be, but we're kind of in the early processes of getting some sort of Callaway and Times Bob Does Sports type stuff, which I think it's just really exciting. I mean, it's like, this sort of stuff, and then the Breezy apparel stuff that
Yeah.
we started end of last year, coming up on a year. It's little stuff like that, like, it's super fun, that like you didn't really like I didn't really think about. Like, I never in my life thought that I would sit and start working with, like, on polos designs and what prints on them would look like, and hoodies and Q-zips and stuff like that. I never really thought, hey, I would do something like that, or even would really be interested in it if I had the opportunity. But once you kind of get going, and you can make something yours, and make it exactly like what you like, it's not like, oh, that brand has stuff that I kind of like, you can make something that, like, you love perfectly. And so it's just like stuff like that. When you kind of have your hand in things that get kind of to the finish line, it's rewarding, and it's fun kind of the whole way through.
Beautiful. Well, what's next? I mean, what do you guys have planned over the next coming year?
We are going to be going to Scotland with Rick Shiels.
Ooh.
So we're going to link up with him out there and film for a bit. Probably do some stuff just solo on the front end, and then link up with him at some pretty. He sent a list today of what he was thinking as far as places we would go, and it's crazy to see those, that stuff written down. Especially knowing you're going to go with him. Um, he's kind of going to have it all perfect. And it's just, we've met him once in Jupiter. He's a lot of fun, and we're gonna have a really good time. I think the videos are gonna be awesome. Um, so we're super stoked on that. We still have our, like, Breezy invitationals going. So I don't know if you've seen the, like,
I
videos that
noticed.
come out
Well,
of those things.
I mean, they look
They're
crazy
wild.
as hell. I mean,
They're wild, man.
you had the one out here at Estrella Mountain
Yeah,
in Phoenix. You had one in Miami, I saw.
yeah.
Where was
Just
the
did
other
one
one?
outside of New York City.
Oh,
That
when
was
did
a
that one go
blast.
down?
That one was in June last month. Yeah, early last
Oh
month.
boy. I
So
missed
we
the memo
just
on that one.
yeah,
I could have gone back home.
we'll be back out your way for sure. But we've got one coming. We just announced in Chicago on September 22nd. I think those tickets go on sale soon, next few days. Maybe Friday even. Should probably know that.
Beautiful.
So that one's going to be a lot of fun. And then again, back to Miami in November. And then I think we've got breezygolf.com, which is going to have all the Breezy apparel that we wear. It's also going to have the Have a Day hats. So bobdosports.com, breezygolf.com, breezygolf.com, all together now. So one-stop shop. It's crazy to see these Have a Day hats everywhere, especially on like PGA Tour coverages,
Oh my
walking through
gosh.
airports. It's cool, man.
We got caddies out there wearing them.
Yeah, we got Big Wave and we got
Hey.
Scotty Vale. It's cool, and we're hoping to add to that kind of stable of guys. The caddies are kind of, they fit what we are, man. Like we're the hang guys, we're the beers after the round guys. So we love that caddy culture for sure. And it's crazy. Like I'll walk on an airplane or something, and the stewardess is like, "Oh, I love your hat. Like, have a day." She doesn't even know what we are, what it's about. It's just a good message,
saying,
man.
yeah.
It's a positive message, no matter
Yeah.
if it's have a day on the course, have a day wherever you want. Just have a day. So
Have a day being a stewardess.
that's right. Do whatever you got to do. So that's those are the two main spots. I've got fatperez.com for some of my Fat Perez specific merch. But yeah, it's just I think I got a TikTok. I don't really get on there too much, but the Instagram and the YouTube, that's where we're at. And yeah,
That's
YouTube, Bob Does Sports. That's where our main episodes, all the collabs, all that stuff's gonna be.
Definitely check it out,
Appreciate it.
folks, because Bob Does Sports. I mean, those episodes are hilarious. Every time I
Appreciate
want a good laugh, I jump on there. And man,
It's
you
fun,
guys
man.
are absolute characters. And it's a puzzle that you guys have put together. You couldn't have said it any better in that moment where it's like going out and playing in your weekend warrior foursome. You
Yeah.
got characters that are all different, and you guys just come together. It's natural, it's genuine, and that's what I love about you guys is that you guys aren't trying to put it on for an audience. You guys are just being yourselves, going out, having a good time, and hoping that people enjoy it and people freaking love it. So congrats, man, on all the success and everything you're doing. And I wish you more success in the future. I will certainly be paying attention and watching. So thanks again, FP, for coming on.
Really appreciate you having me on, man.
My pleasure. Thank you for tuning in to Season 2 of the Pull Hook Golf Podcast. Make sure to hit subscribe and go to www.pullhookgolf.com for more